the existing free speech laws and boundaries to criticize the American state with this radical act of protest is entirely different than utilizing the free speech laws to basically say, let's go kill some black people, dude. How sick is that? Yeah, obviously these two things are different. We're just going to continue working, okay, through this. You'll be fine. Yes, the FPS looks off. I know.
Civil unrest, the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet.
Like, that's the biggest threat to Germany and Europe. It's not Russia. Like, I mean, this like outflanks even their own other propaganda. When they turn around and say stuff like, oh, it's like, you're supposed to say, no, Russia and China are major problems for Europe. But he's like, nah, you know what the biggest problem for Europe is? You're not fascist enough, okay? It's just like silly aesthetic bullshit.
A day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Quran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted.
Yeah, they're not doing enough Quran burnings, dude. That's the real issue in Europe.
Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith-Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing
and to impose your stupidity
50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person, but no. This last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law.
What the? No, that's so absurd. What are you? Oh, I don't even know what this is. The problem is, when conservatives do this stuff, they just flood the zone with a bunch of ridiculous, erroneous claims, okay? And they flood the market, so you have to actively go through each individual thing that he's talking about and give additional details. But in terms of like, Scotland is going to start prosecuting people for praying in their own homes if they're near an abortion clinic is so psychotic, dude. Yeah, that's just not correct, okay? They're not going to do that. What would be the purpose of that? He's just lying. And I think what's funny, I mean, what's interesting about a lot of this is that, like, lying is such a powerful tool. I think it's kind of underrated. Okay? I think lying is kind of underrated, especially when there's no one that's like willing to actively go up against the lie and be like, especially when there's no universally trusted resource of information. Like, mainstream media dying is is truly awful in this regard. The public's confidence has been undermined. They don't care about mainstream resources. And you can just seek out alternative sources of information that basically correspond to your worldview and your biases. So now you could just literally turn around and be like, yeah, this is what's going on. They're going to start killing you if you even think about Christ.
Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizens suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
Basically living on every meme trope, unfair stereotype of Americans being ignorant morons. Quote, I looked to Brussels where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media. That's a whopper distortion of EU law. EU can't shut down social media when they spot hateful content. If they could, there'd be no social media, which is a giant cess. But yeah, I mean, obviously they can't. In this country, Germany, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspecting of posting anti-feminist comments online as a part of combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. So the irony here is that Germany actually does have incredibly restrictive speech laws, and they actively target pro-Palestinian demonstrators and brutally stop them. They have quite literally deported pro-Palestinian figures that come from other European countries.
Come on, you're losing it.
Okay? They have barred entry of pro-Palestinian speakers. Of course, JD Vance is not going to talk about that. He's going to talk about some silly shit. Police didn't raid people for posting anti-feminist comments. They arrested 45 men for offenses including the following: threatening rape, threatening to post nude photos of an ex, demanding nude photos from strangers, distributing videos depicting torture of women. Yeah, if JD Vance wanted to truly talk about some of the insanity happening in terms of like a lack of free speech in Germany, which obviously they have infinitely more restrictive standards for speech in Germany, he could have actually talked about a real story. Except he wants to do that in America, so of course he's not going to talk about that. BKR is the name of the Federal Criminal Police Office of Germany. BKR's raids were timed to mark International Women's Day last year. They didn't arrest a single person for anti-feminist comments. They arrested men for horrible criminal offenses. BKA, Bundeskriminalamt. Part of the project, the BKA specifically searched for misogynistic postings with criminal relevance on online platforms. They were pre-assessed by the ZIT from a criminal law perspective, and after the suspected authors have been identified, were forwarded via the judicial route to the relevant public prosecutors' offices in the states in order to decide on an initiation of appropriate investigations. The basis for the initiative was, among other things, a ruling by the Cologne Higher Regional Court on June 9th, 2020, which confirmed that blanket denigration of women can be punishable as incitement to hatred under Section 130 of the German Criminal Code. Misogyny on the internet exists in many different forms. In addition to inciting hatred, the ZIT and the BKA were also able to identify postings in which women were sexually slandered and assaulted, in which so-called nude photos were publicly requested, in which rape and sexual coercion were publicly advocated, and in which torture and videos were publicly distributed. In Sweden, 2 weeks ago, the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Quran burnings. The Swedish government can't convict anybody. The Swedish court is independent of the government under Chapter 11, Section 3. Fined Salwan Najam £297, $374 with a conditional sentence. Chapter 16, Section 8 of the 1962 Swedish Criminal Code is below. It's a crime to express contempt against a group of persons due to their religious beliefs. Like, I remember some of the details of the Quran burnings that happen all the time in Sweden and whatnot. And it's like, yeah, that's a hate crime. JD Vance is not upset that JD Vance just doesn't want hate crimes to be prosecuted. That's the difference. That's the difference. Most concerningly, our dear friends in the UK, where a British government charged a 51-year-old physio and army veteran with the heinous crime of silently praying 50 meters from an abortion clinic. Firstly, the British government didn't like criminal offense. He was given a £100 fixed penalty notice by police on the day of the incident. Bournemouth City Council took him to court where he refused to pay the fine. Charge was failing to comply with Public Spaces Protection Order under the Antisocial Behavior, Crime and Policing Act of 2014, breached by where he deliberately chose to stand and what time he chose to stand there. A little later in the day, elsewhere, no problem. Like, from the American perspective, this doesn't make sense, okay? Because we don't have rules like this for the most part. And when police want to actually enforce an action, there's a million different ways to do so. You could say, oh, this is obstruction of justice. You could say, oh, this is trespass. Europeans have some, weird ass restrictions that are supposed to promote tolerance or supposed to prosecute intolerance, but not like actively prosecute it in the sense that like you're going to jail, but simply give you like a fine, okay? That's it. America is infinitely more ruthless in its criminal justice system in terms of like how we arrested, for example, 3,100 college campus protesters for the crime, which is not even a crime at all. At least it's still not a crime yet, of offending the feelings of the big bad state of Israel that is also a small bean, okay? We did that, and that was the Biden administration. In Europe, they're like, hey, if you, I don't know, pray around an abortion clinic at a certain time, yeah, you're gonna get a 100-pound fine. That's it. And then these guys understandably want to protest against it, knowing full well that it is red meat for the reactionaries. The law is titled Abortion Services Safe Access Zone, Scotland Act of 2024. The full act is below. It doesn't take very long to read. There's nothing whatsoever in the Scottish legislation that criminalizes private prayer in your home. I mean, I could have told you that without knowing what that law was, because that would be an insane thing to advocate for. The act of burning the Quran isn't in and of itself against hate speech laws. It's that he at the same time called Arab and Muslims cockroaches and desecrated the Quran. It's crazy your beliefs on this, the censorship of internet and freedom of speech. You should be advocating for this with your view on Hamas, etc. Big fan here, but this is a dumb take from you. Wait, what? Dude, are you stupid? Is it difficult for you to comprehend that I just literally explained that all of these rules, or even in a country where there are restrictions against prosecution, they simply don't give a... Okay? Do you not hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? I'm saying that European rules, European restrictions around speech are in some ways actually less restrictive than the American criminal justice system that is very heavy-handed in immediately engaging in mass arrests. You are dumb. This Scottish law is disgusting. You are defending it. Not a hate crime. It's a book. For say hate crime would actually be targeting a specific person. Wait. Okay. It's not a hate crime for sake. You're just simply burning a cross. Is that your argument? It's not, if it's not deliberately targeting a specific black person, as long as you're burning a cross in a public area, that's not a hate crime. What a great argument this is. Hey, excuse me, officer. I just drew a swastika. It's not a hate crime. It's not targeting a specific Jewish person. It's targeting all Jews. Great stuff. You don't even know what the standard for a hate crime is. Yes, we can burn flags, blocks, etc., but sorry, I can't. But a Quran. First of all, burning a Quran is burning a Quran, or removing the context and the nuance from the act of burning a Quran is hilarious in this instance, because it is akin to saying, oh, I'm sorry, we can burn flags, but we can't burn a cross. Okay? That's what you're simply stating, because there is additional symbolism surrounding this. Okay? Just so you understand. Or, oh, we can draw, I don't know, circles and squares on the side of the street, but we can't draw a swastika. It would be considered a hate crime. It's still a hate crime. Whether you want that hate crime to exist or not, or whether you want no regulations surrounding that sort of thing or not, doesn't change the reality that the intention behind it is very deliberately to spark hatred against certain marginalized communities. Okay? I don't know why every single person just simply across the board assumes that there is no nuance or context in these situations. You just like try to make a blanket statement and move on, thinking that I'm not going to be able to address it. We can say and do as we want as long as no one is hurt. Right to peaceful protest and speaking your mind. I know. I don't disagree with you, except the intention behind burning a Quran, and also simultaneously, as chatters from Sweden have correctly pointed out, saying all Muslims are vermin that must be forcibly removed from the country, is very clearly a little bit extra than just, oh, I'm against this religion, that's why I'm burning the Quran. That's why the act of burning the Quran is never specifically just an anti-religious act. Okay? Chatter wants to commit legal actions whilst not being hated by those he's directly offending. Yeah. Yeah, we can incite violence as long as we do not throw the punches ourselves. Can you explain burning a cross versus burning the American flag? Yes, easy. Burning the American flag is a criticism and a protest against the nation state. Burning a cross is to say black people must be killed because that's what it accompanied in the past and still to this day. When you burn a cross, you are going to engage in lynchings. It is a telltale sign to try to get stochastic terror to happen. Whether you are going to do it yourself or hope that others want to do it does not matter, okay? There's a difference between saying the American government when you are literally a part of the American government and you're, utilizing the existing free speech laws and boundaries to criticize the American state with this radical act of protest is entirely different than utilizing the free speech laws to basically say, let's go kill some black people, dude. How sick is that? Yeah, obviously these two things are different. And I say this as someone who obviously benefits tremendously from the existing First Amendment, the First Amendment that I guess, the American government is still held on to. I don't understand. We're just burning a mosque. It's a radical act of protest against the religion. Anyway, you're not giving good examples. Burning a cross is constitutionally protected in the U.S., Virginia v. Black. I'm not saying that it's an appropriate thing regardless because it's still an incitement of hatred and it's accompanied by a litany of hate crimes regardless. In the same exact way that...
What's the location of your emergency?
I'm reporting a missing child.
And at this point, I start to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? And I'm like, no, you've got nothing to hide. Give him your phone. If you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious. Like, what are you doing?
I feel like sometimes people struggle to show real emotion when they're aware of what the truth is.
If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the you want, but I don't know anything.
On February 25th, 2024 in Kissimmee, Florida, Madeline Soto celebrated her 13th birthday party with family and friends. The joyous occasion was quickly overshadowed by fear and panic just one day later when her mother arrived to pick her up from school only to learn Madeline never made it to class. Police and investigators launch a massive search operation, but as they piece together the clues from her last 24 hours, shocking evidence and glaring inconsistencies begin to emerge, suggesting her disappearance may be connected to a far more sinister truth. The following report is based on police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. Please note that all persons charged with a crime are presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. On a late evening of February 26, 2024, the Orange County Sheriff's Office receives a 911 call from a caller with a dire concern.
Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police, possibly. I'm reporting a missing child.
Okay, and the child that you're trying to report missing, are you calling on behalf of the parent?
Yes, on behalf of the mother.
Okay, and then how long has it been, though, since you guys have last seen her?
Since this morning. She was dropped off at school this morning, and apparently she never showed up. We called everyone we knew, no one's seen her.
After collecting more details, the dispatcher assures the caller that a deputy will arrive as soon as possible. However, no help arrives. She calls back 2 more times, attempting to express the urgency of the situation.
Do you need police power or medical?
No, it's not a medical issue. We have a missing child since this morning. We already called 3 times.
Yes, ma'am. I see you. This is waiting for a deputy to respond.
You're waiting for a deputy to respond?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long more do we need to wait? It's a child missing.
I understand that, ma'am, but I'm just not able to give out ETA. I don't know when they'll be there.
So this is not important for you guys? Really?
No, we were very busy in the area. Look, I understand that they'll be there as soon as they can, okay?
The chilling reason for the delay and what had deputies in the area so busy would soon raise more questions about the timing of her disappearance. At 7:48 p.m., Deputy Joseph finally arrives at the scene to meet with the missing girl's mother, 35-year-old Jennifer Soto, and her boyfriend, 37-year-old Stephen Stearns.
Hi there. Hey there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So, was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry, one second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Are we looking for another kid or we have a kid?
Looking for another one.
With more than one missing child in the area, the fear that she may have been abducted remains a possibility.
So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today, and she never came out. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Just had a 13th birthday.
13. What was she last seen wearing?
Green hoodie, Crocs, either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live. I asked all of them.
Is this like, does she like have any places that you guys know that she'll usually be at? Any friend's house? Any places that like she likes to hang out?
Typically,
no.
Not typically? No. Okay. Does she have a phone number or a phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it. And I've already done her messages.
Okay. How about, does she have like Apple Watch?
She's got a device. The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
Her school laptop? Is that trackable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It should be. If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to the Wi-Fi. So if I like circle here,
Without her cell phone, the laptop is their only hope of tracking Madeline's location. Attempts were made to locate the laptop, but unfortunately, the last pinged location was near downtown Orlando on February 22nd, 4 days prior to her disappearance.
Possibly, I don't know. She got dropped off. She was like, so she's embarrassed by his car. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She wanted to be dropped off like half a block away so she can walk.
She's in the face.
But he dropped her off half a block away and drove away.
Did she have a middle school though?
No, we called school.
She was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just looking for headphones before she got her walking on.
Yeah.
But she was just kind of, shambling over in that direction. It looked the same as any other morning.
A sudden phone call puts the room on high alert as family and officers alike wait to hear if it's news about Madeline.
Hello? Yes? Hi, Principal. I'm okay. How are you?
Stephen leads officers to the location where he believes he dropped her off for school, but a parent's struggles with his memory give them a less than ideal start.
Was they here?
I can't remember the exact spot, but it was around where these communities were. Oh, thank you. So it's like around where these communities were.
Okay.
And it's just like in this stretch, like we could see the overpass down there. Where's the school? Just on the other side of the overpass.
With a general idea of where Madeline was last seen, officers begin to search a nearby apartment complex for any sign of the missing child.
No cameras present right now.
I can't believe that in this day and age there's no cameras putting on.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we can find something. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Deputy Joseph appears to have better luck as he reviews surveillance footage at a church half a mile from Madeline's school, where a young girl fitting her description was captured on camera in the early morning hours.
There's like a car pulled.
Yeah, he left and she walked onto property. And then she actually dove back onto property.
I guess she left.
So she's still sitting there.
And the tour, what's the other?
They were saying like, she'll come in someplace like that feels attention. You know, like I don't want to be tracked. So I'm gonna try bumping it up like 10 minutes to see if she's still there. Yeah.
Oh, wait, there is a person getting out of the car.
She's gone by 9.
Hopeful that Madeline's movements can be tracked, a K-9 search unit is dispatched in the intersection near the school where Madeline may have walked. The stakes are high and every second counts, but after nearly 15 minutes of searching, they've yet to pick up her trail.
I mean, if I had to guess, get out of there. If I had to guess, you probably went that way. Yeah. But, ow. He dumped her off here, or he dumped her off?
He dumped off
up ahead. Okay.
And she walked this way, coming down.
So her scent's probably all over here anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. What are you telling me? No. Okay. Yeah, we can call it.
Back at the church, Deputy Joseph shares what he saw on the surveillance footage with Madeline's aunt.
It's blurry video, but it looks like a adolescent child sitting right there, and I don't see her getting into anybody's car in the video. I see her sitting on property for give or take 10 minutes and then walking off property. I don't know which way she went from there and get more video.
Show the bridge or anything?
No.
Speculating that Madeline may have wandered away on her own, the officer asks if there's anywhere she may have gone that she wouldn't want her mother to know about.
I have no idea. We checked your phone. I didn't see any,
Crazy stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, me neither, yeah.
I didn't see her trying to, plan anything with anyone. And I just really don't think she's the type to do that.
Just walk up and leave.
Yeah, I don't see her doing that at all.
The mystery of Madeline's disappearance eludes law enforcement as a challenging night of searching meets a disappointing end. Despite their exhaustive efforts, the haunting question of where Madeline has gone and why leaves everyone grasping for answers. The following day, on February 27th, officers begin canvassing local neighborhoods, and the family makes multiple appearances and television interviews. As news about Madeline's disappearance spreads, some residents begin feeling the emotional impact.
Oh, is this about that little girl?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've been crying all day long.
Yeah, she's been missing since 8:30 a.m.
Why aren't there any updates? I'm looking everywhere for anybody. I kept saying to myself, I said, I'm hoping she skipped school today.
While Orange County deputies continue knocking on doors, a detective heads to Madeline's school to speak with her best friend in the hopes she may have heard from her or has information that may lead to a breakthrough.
I thought it was fishy yesterday when she didn't text me at all, because usually even if she doesn't go to school that day, she texts me the night or the day of, she'll wake up early just to text me hey, I'm not going to school. And she didn't yesterday, but I didn't think anything of it because I thought she slept in or something.
Okay. Did you ever try to call her or text her or anything?
Yes, I called her.
And no answer?
No answer.
And that's completely out of the ordinary for her?
Yeah.
According to investigators, Madeline's phone was unplugged from the charger on February 26th at 7:04 a.m. It was then powered off around 15 minutes later, which they would determine is an unusual pattern according to historical phone data. As speculation that Madeline ran away from home continues, her friend drops a shocking revelation.
She had told when I turned 13, once I turned 13, I'm going to leave this house and never come back.
Why 13?
Because she always bragged, because I said that I can't wait to my birthday, and she was like, are you having a birthday party? I said no, and she was like, oh, I get a whole bunch of money, $500 something. I think she was waiting to turn 13, that way she could get a whole bunch of money and go.
But where would she go?
I have no clue.
As the question of why Madeline would want to run away from home haunts the investigators, her mother, Jennifer, offers a simple explanation.
So this whole living in the woods thing, I have people tromping through the woods right now on horses and ATVs and all sort of things, but has she ever mentioned that before?
The thing is, I started talking to her about World War III, just what's happening politically, and I'm like, I don't know what that means for us, but we'll see what happens. But I talked to her about World War III, so that's what I'm just saying.
How long ago was that? I mean, is that something that might have impacted her?
And that's why she said she wanted to go live in the woods.
As the detective asks Jennifer for her own insights, she poses a darker theory for what may have happened to Madeline.
Based off of everything, me knowing her and knowing how she is and how tight-knit we are, I don't think she would run away. I feel like she was taken, on that short walk from where she was dropped off to the school.
As investigators finish interviewing Madeline's friend, she shares one final detail that suggests a suspicious break in her usual routine. The friend shares that Madeline always preferred to be dropped off at school and had never walked her way to school from the church.
But yesterday, for some random reason, she wanted to be dropped off at the church.
I don't know if she's ever been dropped off at church before. No, she's told me.
Okay.
The unusual circumstances leave detectives scrambling for answers, and they'll soon turn to Stefan and Jennifer to fill in the blanks. As officers continue canvassing, a second night falls with no valuable leads. By now, Madeline has been missing for over 48 hours. K9 Wyatt returns for a second attempt at locating her trail, this time beginning at Madeline's residence, where Stefan and Jennifer are waiting.
We're gonna pull one more, and then we're gonna have the dog sniff it out again and see if we can get another track going.
What's the last outfit she was wearing?
Has it been like with other clothes and all that, like your clothes?
Is it other people's dirty clothes or is it her dirty clothes? Is her
Like a pillow that she has to sleep with.
underwear? No, I mean all that stuff works. Yeah, but you slept on the pillow this morning.
No, that's right. That's not a local pillow.
They settle on using a pair of her underwear from the bathroom, and the search begins. However, Stefan's curiosity will soon create an unexpected barrier to their efforts.
I'm gonna be going like right where you guys are. Yeah. You guys can go inside if you want, because then I just don't want him trying to track you guys. Yeah. He's a pretty cute little guy. Just as long as everybody's inside. I'm not gonna go inside. I'm just gonna start at the front door. He's trying to open the door. Oh God, he opened the door. Sorry. He knows how to open doors.
After only a few minutes of searching, Stefan is seen lingering just around the corner, leading to frustration with the K9's handler.
No, sorry. He backtracks a lot, so he kind of just circles.
Yeah.
After being told that it's distracting.
Unfortunately, no critical evidence was found in the second K9 search, and concerns around Madeline's whereabouts continued to escalate. By Friday, March 1st, 5 days after she first disappeared, Madeline is still nowhere to be found. Jennifer and Stefan have been interviewed multiple times, but inconsistencies in their accounts and shocking new evidence have thrown the case in a chilling new direction. As investigators meet with Jennifer to revisit their previous interviews, an intricate web of lies begins to unravel.
Yeah, we'll start with Sunday. Maybe do Sunday.
Sunday. Birthday party. She spent the whole day at my mom's house. We celebrated with the whole family. I was at work. I just started a new job last week or the week before. She had the best day. We were so happy when I got home and we saw her at my house around 8:30 that night. I wasn't home. She got dropped off alone. About 10 to 15 minutes later, Stefan showed up.
At your house in Kissimmee?
At my house in Kissimmee, he called me. No, he texted me after, but he let me know he was there, and that she was getting ready for bed. She was doing her routine.
Stefan previously explained to detectives that he doesn't live with Jennifer full-time, but rather splits his time between her house in Kissimmee and his parents' home in Northport, Florida, nearly 150 miles away.
And what does your time splitting look like? Are you here for days, weeks, months, something else?
Weeks at a time, yeah.
And so, I guess, when did you arrive this block of time that you were here?
Day before yesterday, actually.
So, what night? Saturday?
Yeah.
I think. So you got here Saturday night.
This is inconsistent with what Jennifer just told detectives, claiming Stefan arrived after her birthday party, which took place on Sunday night. However, even this timeline contradicts one of her earlier interviews, in which Jennifer struggled to remember exactly what day he made it into town.
How long has he been here? Or when did he arrive, rather, this time?
I can't remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning.
These are only the beginning of a string of contradictions that will soon raise major red flags. As Stefan's questioning continues, he's asked to describe how Madeline was acting following her birthday party on Sunday night.
He's happy. Seems to be happy.
to do things here. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I can't remember anything. I think they're the happened.
Jennifer continues to explain what happened just after she returned from work and the reason behind her decision to break routine and have Stefan take Madeline to school the following morning.
I got home around 10:30. I started getting ready for bed myself. I started eating and taking my meds. I have to take meds. When I went to take my meds, I realized, oh my God, I forgot to take my Saturday night's meds, which is why I felt so weird and so abnormal and not myself Sunday while I was at work. Everyone at work noticed I was acting different and not being myself. Like I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I hadn't felt in years. It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again that I've been medicating myself for all this time. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep.
This disturbing admission further stressed the concerns detectives have had since Jennifer's initial interview, when she'd first explained their unusual sleeping arrangements at home.
Is it normal for both of them to sleep in the same room? Sometimes. When I really need a good night's sleep, I will send them upstairs. But when, also a lot of times, we will sleep together in the king-size bed, all three of us. Or sometimes Stefan will go upstairs and our bed alone. So it just really depends on what's going on that night with our schedules and what we're doing.
Okay, where were you sleeping?
Downstairs in the king-size bed.
Okay, is it just you two here? Well, you guys have a roommate, right?
We have two roommates.
So what rooms do you guys use?
The room downstairs, the master bedroom downstairs, and room number 4.
The house would later be thoroughly searched, and what investigators would uncover would leave detectives reeling. As Jennifer continues, she elaborates on how the concerning sleeping arrangements first originated.
The living situation with them, I'll be honest, seems weird. It's weird to me. She's got a bedroom downstairs. What's kind of the mindset or the thought process, the communication you've had with Stefan about, she's not going to sleep in her bed, but you guys are going to go sleep in the guest bedroom?
It wasn't until June that he got his own bedroom and I sent him upstairs. That's where the requests for sleepover started.
Okay.
And I kept telling her, no. I'm not comfortable with that. They really wanted to watch something and I was really tired. And I said, okay, fine. Go ahead, but this can't happen often. I allowed her to go upstairs and sleep with him. But honestly, I think I can count on one hand how many times that's happened, and it hasn't been many times that I've allowed her to have a supper party with him, to be alone in the bed with him.
The sleeping arrangements leave detectives seemingly uneasy, but with finding Madeline still the main priority, investigators ask Stefan to piece together the events of the following morning.
Woke up around 7:15, somewhere around there, which is an early start for us, but we had talked about getting McDonald's breakfast beforehand, so we wanted to make good time. We did make good time. We got out the door maybe 7:30ish, 7:45ish, maybe.
However, when Natalie, who lived in the house as one of Jennifer's 2 roommates, was asked if she saw the 2 of them getting ready in the morning, her answer seemed to contradict Stefan's account.
Did you see them at all Monday morning?
By the time I was leaving Monday, no, I think I was leaving too early. I leave like around 7:45. I typically don't see them.
Which was like probably gone before they even got up, maybe? Okay, gotcha.
If Natalie's recollection is correct, she would likely have seen Stefan, as they both claim to have left the house at the same time. The timeline is even more muddied by a written statement to the police, in which Jennifer claims she physically saw Madeline getting ready around 8 a.m. Confusion over the truth is compounded as her story continues to change.
Between your initial statement to the police, a lot of things have changed. The initial statement to the police was you watched her get dressed, you watched her leave, you knew exactly what she was wearing.
Can I tell you
Absolutely.
my thought process on that, or where I came from with that? I was handed this form, and I'm like, where do I start? What do I write? And somebody said, tell them what you saw. And so I started with I saw. And then I wrote out what I wrote out. But it wasn't until later I was like, wait, I didn't see her. I assumed that I saw her. I assumed that I heard her. but I didn't. In reality, I didn't see her. I only saw him, and I heard something in the kitchen, but I don't know who that was.
Despite the inconsistencies, investigators move on to what happened after Stefan and Madeline allegedly left for school.
She was asleep in the car most of the time, just snoozing until we got there. And she wanted to be dropped off a little down the ways from the school. She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out of in front of the school. I get it. It's an image thing. I said, okay. Let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too. And I turned around and was driving away and was watching her in my rearview mirror to make sure that she was going where we're supposed to go. And she was moving in that direction, but she was rummaging around in her backpack or something. Find out later that she forgot her phone here, so she may have been rummaging for her phone. But she was still kind of making her way towards that direction, so it looked okay. It looked like any other day.
And you said that that's typical of her to walk that distance?
Yeah, she likes the morning walks when it's cool. And she will sometimes like to hang out, wait for her friends. She's known to do that.
His statement seems to have raised suspicions with investigators, as Madeline's friend informs them that it isn't typical for her to be dropped off anywhere but in front of the school. Stefan also claims to have dropped her off between 8:20 and 8:40 a.m. But when confronted with what detectives saw on local street cameras, Stefan makes an abrupt change to his story.
So why is your car seen going southbound at 8:10? So meaning going toward Kissimmee?
I had forgotten something. I had forgotten my gate clicker. I'm sorry, I forgot. I had gone back to the house real quick after we left. I actually had to go through the front gate and use my parking pass to grab my clicker. So it was the wrong time. I'm sorry. Like I said, I was guesstimating these times. I'm not a morning person.
Okay.
So yes, I had gone out.
How far did you get before you came back down? That when you realized you forgot your clicker?
Nearly all the way to the school.
So you guys came back here to get your clicker?
Correct.
So when we look at the cameras in the front, it's going to show you coming back in here with her in the car?
Yes, with her in the passenger seat,
Okay.
yes.
Footage from the apartment shows Stefan pulling up to the complex trash compactor at 7:35 a.m. in his silver sedan. He's wearing a red-colored shirt as he throws a trash bag inside the compactor and pulls away. A female believed to be Madeline is visible in the front passenger seat, appearing slightly slumped over. They leave and return to the apartment at 8:19 a.m., where Stefan appears to speak briefly with a security guard. Madeline still appears to be in the front passenger seat. The security guard was later interviewed, but his account burns another hole in Stefan's story.
Do you remember a resident coming through in a silver Lincoln sedan?
I do remember, but not his face. I talked to him. He showed me his little clicker, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm clicking, it's not working." And then I went and I clicked the button. He went inside, and I just remember there was a woman like sleeping inside him with a green shirt.
If Stefan already had his gate clicker, his reason for returning to the complex falls apart, leaving investigators to question what else he may have lied about. They determine the trash compactor needs a closer look and begin the process of gathering a warrant to search its contents. Meanwhile, with more questions than answers, Stefan continues to explain what happened next after he returned to the area near the church and dropped Madeline off.
What did you do after you left the area?
I left to go to the local vape shop because I needed some more vape juice. They weren't quite open yet, so I ended up going back home. Waited about an hour or so and then went back and checked the vape shop again. It was open, so I got what I needed there and came back home.
Do you remember what time you came home?
The first time was probably right around 10, close to it. Probably finished at the vape shop and came back home again a little after 11.
Okay. You said the first time that you hung out with a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Was there when you got here at 10? Okay.
I think so. She might have been at a blood appointment. Let me double check.
It's okay. We don't have to ask her right now.
Sorry, this was a blur.
So she might have been here. She might have not have been here.
I believe she was here because she was sleeping in as much as she possibly could because she's been messed up with a new work schedule. So she had to be here because she didn't want to sleep over.
With Stefan struggling to remember whether or not Jennifer was home when he arrived back at the apartment, investigators turned to Jennifer herself for confirmation.
When Stefan called me around 10:18 in the morning, I had stepped out to go get blood work done. And he had just let me know that he just got back home from running a few errands. I asked, did you guys ever just stop at McDonald's? And he said no, she changed her mind. He tried convincing her a few times that she did not want McDonald's anymore.
At what time did you leave the house yesterday in the morning? Or what time did you step out, rather?
You say around 9:30.
You left around 9:30. And then Stefan called you around 10 to say you got home?
Yeah.
Though Stefan claims he spent time with Jennifer before leaving for the vape store a second time, Jennifer's account suggests she wasn't home until after he returned. As confusion builds over the timeline, detectives review security footage from the street cameras and notice a flaw in Stefan's story.
Did you go anywhere else after the smoke shop?
Oh, no. I don't think I went anywhere specific. I was just driving probably in the direction of home. But I don't remember stopping anywhere specifically.
And you were there for 5 to 10 minutes?
Roundabout, I think.
Okay, so like let's say you drop her off at 8:40. We don't see your car coming back south until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing between 8:40 and 10 o'clock?
Cruising around a little bit.
Okay, but I asked you earlier, you know, like what you were doing, and you said you were there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then you came back home.
I mean, I don't know what to say. It was just a normal day. I didn't have anything important to do. The smoke shop was supposed to open soon, so I made my way over there. Wasn't any particular rush, though.
Okay, but can you help me explain to them, because I don't know the explanation or the answer to this question, okay? So can you help me explain to them why there's such a delay in the time?
No.
With Stefan unable to provide an answer, more surveillance footage will need to be reviewed to track his movements. Meanwhile, a suspicious act by Stefan raises serious alarms for investigators.
I left my phone at home in the morning, too. I was so busy riding herd over to get us out the door on time that I left my phone. She left her phone. We both left our phones.
Did you have your phone when you went to the smoke shop?
Not the first time after I dropped her off. I was still without it. I got my phone and went back to the smoke shop.
Okay.
Later when I got home.
And then I also noticed, I was checking your car history. I noticed that you don't have anything before this morning. Is that unusual on your phone?
No, it's a new phone. Stupid. I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what pardon me. I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my information.
Jennifer also corroborates this story as she explains the moment the supposed accident took place.
And I said, how the hell did that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone? He goes, yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened. And I said, oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks.
When asked, Stefan voluntarily hands over his phone, and investigators begin a forensic download to determine its contents. They uncover that at 12:12 p.m. on February 26th, the phone was factory reset by manually navigating to the device's settings, and that it had nothing to do with a system update. They also discovered that a password must be entered and that it's unlikely, if not impossible, to be done by accident. In the meantime, Jennifer explains that Stefan had an intense reaction to leaving his phone in the hands of the police.
So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stefan for his cell phone. If he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? And I'm like, no, if you've got nothing to hide, give him your phone. And I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside, and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for ever. I don't give a We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like, if you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as like, what are you doing?
What they would later discover hidden in the data would shock investigators and completely change the course of the case. Meanwhile, as Stefan's account of the day continues, he explains that he left the apartment once again around 12:30 in the afternoon.
I had a couple errands to run over on 192. She was talking about making a BJ shopping list. She just wanted to make sure I was back in time for us to both go pick up. So I was visiting some card shops around the area on 192. I'm kind of a nerd, so we had a new trading card game release, and I was seeing what the situation was with it.
Jennifer describes Stefan as an avid gamer who collects figurines, trading cards, and retro toys such as Tamagotchis.
Do you remember what places you visited?
Yeah, Coliseum of Comics. Stopped by a couple Targets, and I was going to go to House Rules Games down by Oak and 192, but I didn't make it that far. I got a flat tire on the way.
Between the factory phone reset and now the flat tire, the suspicious circumstances keep adding up. Jennifer continues, explaining what happened as the time approached to pick up Madeline from school.
2:30 rolls around, and I'm already calling Stefan, and he's not picking up his phone. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him going, I just got back home. I left my phone home again. I'm so sorry. How long ago did you leave? And I said, about 10 minutes ago. He goes, I'm so sorry, I missed it. I really wanted to go with you. And I'm just like, it's fine.
Investigators attempt to pinpoint where the tire change occurred, but once again, Stefan seems to struggle with his memory.
Do you remember where you got your flat tire?
It was on 192. I pulled into one of those plazas somewhere.
Do you remember the name of the plaza by any chance?
I don't.
Though investigators were unaware at the time, Stefan's flat tire would eventually be the key to a massive breakthrough in the search for Madeline. Meanwhile, Jennifer explained she went to the school to pick up Madeline, and more inconsistencies come up.
410 rolls around, and she's still not out, or 409. And then at this point, I'm feeling the pressure from the cars behind me. I'm like, okay, they're all full. They're all waiting for me to leave, and she's not here yet. So I take off, and I'm thinking, maybe I missed her. Maybe I forgot to tell her I was picking her up from school today, because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working. So I left, thinking maybe she walked. That's pretty close to school. Let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk, and just wait. And I parked and I waited. Maybe somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. She still wasn't there, and I looked at the time, and I'm like, okay, she should be back at my mom's office by now. Maybe she took a different path and I didn't see. She's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. And I think at this point I call Stefan and I tell him she didn't make it. She's absent today. There's no attendance of her at all today.
Later that evening, Jennifer, Stefan, and concerned family members met with police to report Madeline missing. Detectives noted several discrepancies in Jennifer and Stefan's accounts. Jennifer initially claimed she saw Madeline getting ready for school, later saying she only heard her. Curiously, she'd corrected Stefan on what Madeline was wearing earlier, despite initial statements that she never saw her.
White Crocs.
Either blue or black pants.
I think black shorts.
Black shorts?
Yeah.
Black shorts? Okay.
Additionally, a review of cameras near where Stefan supposedly left Madeline doesn't show his car in the area, and cameras capture him moving in the opposite direction at the time he was supposedly dropping her off at school. A license plate reader also captured Stefan 9 miles away in St. Cloud at the time he was supposedly heading toward House Rules Games in Kissimmee, where he disappears from cameras for approximately 54 minutes. With suspicious circumstances surrounding Madeline's disappearance, police prohibit Stefan and Jennifer from re-entering their apartment on the night of
Trump wants every other country, well, every other country, I mean, Russia and China, that is basically every other country, like to come to an agreement to lower their military budgets by 50%, all of them. Does he know that he needs the military to do imperialism? Did anyone tell him that? I told you guys that Trump would like accidentally bumble into doing really stupid things that destroy American power, and that would destroy it. Like, China doesn't need a big military. It doesn't do anything with it except for like act as a deterrent against the USA. It's literally the only reason why China has a military as large as the one that it has is because of the USA. So like this would like be detrimental to American imperialism and better for China. But then again, like an agreement like this would just be broken. Like they'd break it. Someone would break it. The US or Russia would break it. I mean, Russia would never agree to it for one, because Russia's in the middle of a fucking war right now. Obviously, they cannot afford to just do that right now. But I would assume that this came about because Trump has been talking to Putin, and probably like he brought this up, or like I don't know, one of the fucking Musk people brought it up, and then Trump's like, I'm an incredibly suggestive moron and I just believe whatever the last person who I talked to believed, so I'm going to bring this up to Putin, and maybe Putin agreed to it or something. But I mean, Trump's peace deal for Ukraine will probably be like, give them half the country, and in exchange Putin reduces the military budget by 50%. Sorry, it was half. It wasn't 50%. It was cutting in half. So he wants all three to cut their military budget in half. Now, I don't trust the US to retain this for one. I mean, China would certainly try to do it and then renege on it if another party broke the agreement. But the US and Russia, they would never maintain something like this. Like, even if Trump was committed to it, the second that like the Democrats got back into power, they would start building the military again. Like, they would literally run. They would run on the fucking platform of Donald Trump destroyed our great grand military. Now we can't kill brown people as effectively. Vote me, Obama's son, and I will restore our military to its former glory. That's how they would run. That's what they do. Like, they run on the platform of, we can be more right-wing than Trump. This definitely came out of like him talking to Putin. I don't think something like this is realistic at all. Obviously, the US and Russia would break this agreement, or they just would never really abide by its terms. Because the thing is, like, once you lower the budget, you know, you fire half the workforce, you get rid of like half the equipment, you stop maintaining it, you try to sell it off, and no one will buy it because there's no one to sell it to. You know, no one needs that much fucking military hardware. It becomes like exponentially more expensive to raise the budget again and replace everything that you got rid of. So it is like a huge commitment. And I seriously doubt that any of these countries are going to do such a thing while also just trusting like the word of the others to do the same. However, while I just Googled this, another thing popped up that I didn't know about. Trump is proposing to occupy another country. It's not just Gaza, not just Greenland, not just Canada. Trump wants to fucking occupy Ukraine and take its minerals as part of a peace deal with Russia. The Trump administration indicated US troops could be deployed to provide security in connection with the minerals if there's a peace deal with Russia. He wants to deploy American troops to occupy Ukraine. Oh, he's saying that he wants 50% of Ukraine's minerals to pay for American military aid, which I'm pretty sure doesn't make any sense, because I don't think that aid was conditional on getting any return for it. So, like, you know, you can't just retroactively give aid and then say you have to pay us back for this by giving us half of the minerals. Trump just wants to occupy literally everything. Like, someone showed Trump a world map and he just pointed at shit and said, me want. Like, this is never going to fucking happen. You have to be kidding me. What a fucking joke. This just shows like how much of a dumbass fucking blowhard Trump is. Like, he's like, oh, I'm going to occupy Greenland. I'm going to occupy Canada. I want to invade and annex Gaza. You know, I want 50% of Ukraine's minerals, and I'm going to send the troops there to take them. This man is like, he's like a child playing a fucking Paradox video game at this point, but he's the president actually, and just keeps coming up with like increasingly insane scenarios for like American military occupations and annexations. Ukrainian officials have said Zelensky has long backed the idea of exchanging critical resources for continued US support. So, I mean, if that is the case, I don't think what Zelensky had in mind was American troops occupying the country and like the US government just being given 50% of all of its rare earth minerals. I would assume what he meant was giving them, like, mining the minerals and giving them to the US directly. rather than giving them like perpetual ownership and fucking like what Trump is proposing here doesn't seem to be like private companies getting contracts for the minerals. It seems like he's legitimately proposing that the US government should, like, I guess, form its own company to steal Ukrainian resources and then send the military there to protect them, I guess, from the Ukrainians themselves, because who else would they be protecting them from? Like, this shit is insane. Like, it's crazy that out of all of Trump's insane proposals, this one is like the most possible, and it's still insane. And I guess he's gonna do this with the US military, or if it's a budget cut in half. Like, come on, that's not fucking happening. If it did, that would be hilarious. Like, it seems like Trump just has no fucking idea what he's doing. Like, most of his proposals are just so out there and inactionable. In terms of, like, I want to invade this country, I want to invade that country, I want to occupy this country, I want to occupy that country, I want to annex this country, I want to annex that country. This is not going to happen. Especially halving the military fucking budget. It's especially not going to happen with that. Like, the US military already got the shit kicked out of them in Afghanistan with the current military budget. Imagine what would happen to them if it was halved. Oh, I completely 100% support everything that Trump is doing to destroy the US government, the US military. I support all of these insanely stupid proposals that he's making. These are the sorts of things that if they were attempted, it would, like, destroy the country. Like the USA invading Canada? The USA can't invade fucking Afghanistan, but it's gonna invade Canada, let me tell you. Can you imagine, like, a bunch of fucking Canadian kicks who say are boots doing, like, guerrilla warfare against the American military? Oh my god, I want that so much. You imagine, like, that would distract the USA for so long. It would be bogged down for such a long time that the rest of the world would, like, advance to, like, the fucking space age. I mean, we're already in the space age, but, like, what's after the space age? I don't know what's after the space age. The galactic age, okay? We're creating things here. We're making our own little video game. While they do that, the rest of the world would be able to breathe and not be under the crushing boot of the USA. We need it now. He's like an 80-year-old man, yet he's also, like, he has the like, foreign policy proposals of, like, a 14-year-old. Who was asked by their teacher, what would you do to fix the world tomorrow? I would annex the entire world with the US military because the USA is the most freedom country and everyone should enjoy our freedom. That's Trump. And also, I would cut the military budget in half. That makes a lot of sense. This combination makes tons of sense, trust me. God, I love President Donald Trump. My president. Now give me your money. Guys, if you send me your money, I'll rug pull. I should make my own little crypto coin. Is it illegal to scam if you say that it's a scam while you scam? Like, if I make a crypto scam and I say, warning, in one day I'm going to rug pull this. Does that make it legal? Because I'd do that 100%.
February 27th, one day following Madeleine's disappearance. Jennifer's reaction to the news was far from what investigators expected.
I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad. Because I had a feeling y'all knew something and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys are that you had the wrong person. I started saying to him, like, I think they're focusing in on you. Like, you need to call your dad, and I think we need to get you a lawyer.
How did he feel when you said he needs a lawyer?
He didn't believe me. Like, when I told him, like, don't you see forensics is closing down the house? They know something, or there's something, like, they know something. Something's happening. They wouldn't be locking down the house this way if they didn't have suspicions of something.
On the night of February 27th, after the police seized Stefan's phone in their apartment, they booked a hotel with Stefan's dad, Chris, a retired Orange County police deputy. Chris will soon speak with police, sharing his own fears and suspicions about his son. Meanwhile, the following morning, Stefan's sudden absence from the hotel doesn't go unnoticed.
The following morning, I wake up, I think around 9 o'clock in the morning, and Stefan's not there. And I remember thinking, he left again without his phone and didn't tell anyone where he was going. That's suspicious as again. Why is he trying to...
Well, we took his phone, so he got a new phone?
He didn't get the new phone until later that day, where his dad woke up, came to our hotel room, and then handed him a phone. But he rolled in around 11:15, rolled in with a cup of Wawa, and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just driving around. I grabbed some Wawa on 182 and got lost. I didn't know how to get back to the hotel, but I'm here now." And I'm just like, detectives are about to show up. What the would have happened if they showed up and you weren't here? Like, you would have been a fugitive. Like, what are you doing? And he was just apologetic about not telling anyone where he went.
But he had a Wawa cup and he said he was up at 192.
Yeah, but in reality, I know that he truly took my car in the middle of the night to Northport, Florida, and I was down there for an hour and came back.
Cameras capture Stefan leaving the hotel lobby at 4:35 a.m. in Jennifer's car. A license plate reader captures him again 1 mile from his parents' home in Northport, Florida, nearly 150 miles from Kissimmee at 6:29 a.m. Investigators urgently speak with Stefan's dad, Chris, as their suspicions surrounding Stefan's activities solidify their suspicions about it being connected with Madeline's whereabouts.
Did he tell you he was in Northport today? I'm assuming he did it based on the reaction. Okay. So, you need to take a seat? Or?
No.
Okay.
He was in Northport.
Yes. We have more than enough reason to believe that Stefan was in Northport today at the exit that you take to your house. Our concern is we're conducting a missing person investigation.
Yeah.
Given the proximity of that exit to your home, what we're trying to find out is if she's just hanging out in your house, you just wanted to get her somewhere safe, we want to put eyes on her, make sure she's okay.
Chris contacts his wife, who's currently at their house in Northport, to let her know that local police are on the way. Meanwhile, Chris theorizes that if Stefan were hiding Madeline, there may be another place worth searching.
They're going to come over and want to search a house for, apparently, can I tell them?
Yeah.
Apparently, Stefan made a trip down to Northport last night. Or this morning, I should say. I have no idea. But there's a storage unit, but he wouldn't have access to the keys to the storage unit because I have the only key to it. And that would have been locked in my car, and he would have had to come in my room, which he didn't have a key to get into.
Chris cooperates fully, giving police permission to search his home and the storage unit in Northport for any sign of Madeline. Meanwhile, Chris describes a haunting suspicion he shared with his wife once they learned of Madeline's sudden disappearance.
When I left last night, I said, hey, I told her, I said, do we really know? Is he capable of doing something harmful to her?
Why would you suspect that?
Because some inconsistencies of phone calls he had with me didn't add up, okay? So I'll give you the sequence. He calls me mid-afternoon, 3-ish, maybe 3:45 or something, and say, I just had a flat tire. Okay, how the did you get a flat tire? You just drove over to Kissimmee. You took her, maybe you're running an errand, but where would you have gone to get a flat tire?
It was several hours later, around 5 p.m., when Stefan told Chris that Madeline never showed up for school. Meanwhile, Jennifer shares similar concerns about his activities.
Him disappearing to Northport. What the hell is he doing? That is suspicious. I mean, now that I know that that's where he went, that is suspicious as all. Why did he go to a storage unit facility? What was he grabbing? What was he trying to dispose of? Or what was he trying to hide in the... That to me is suspicious.
What Stefan was doing in Northport and how it's related to Madeline's disappearance will be revealed later. The home and storage unit are searched, but no sign of Madeline is found. In the meantime, Stefan is brought to the police station just after his return to the hotel on February 28th, unaware that his many lies are about to catch up with him.
What happened to him?
Flat tire. I haven't changed a flat tire in about 10 years. I made a rookie mistake and had my thumb too close to where the jack and the frame meet. And it slipped, and the frame came down on my thumb and pinned it between the jack.
What about the other scratches?
Courtesy of a janky tire iron and the road.
Did you bleed at all?
Yeah, this one had some blood and this one had some blood, but not much. It clotted fast.
Do you know what popped your tire at all?
I have no idea. Tire just started going floppy and then
pretty worn out or something?
floppier and then just completely freaking separated. I think I would have a spare in a jack. Janky as it was.
So typically when changing a tire and stuff, you tend to get brake dust and dirty and all that.
Yeah. positive that I breathed in some freaking brake dust or tire dust or something because I was coughing the rest of the day.
What'd you end up doing to clean up or stop the bleeding and stuff?
Nothing, actually. I just
You didn't
went
get too
home
dirty?
and washed my hands and that was it.
Your clothes get all messed up and all, or?
Not bad, surprisingly.
What were you wearing, by chance?
This. I'm still wearing this. I'm still wearing the same clothes.
Oh, so you got pretty clean.
Try to, I guess.
Earlier surveillance footage showed him wearing a red shirt as he threw away items in the trash compactor, left the apartment complex, and returned with Madeline. However, when he's captured on camera at a smoke shop later that morning, his clothes have changed.
You weren't wearing a red shirt?
Just wearing a red shirt early in the morning. But I changed clothes later because that shirt was in a couple days with that one. And the flat tire happened after that.
After further review of security footage from the apartment complex, Stefan was seen visiting the trash compactor multiple times throughout the day. At 4:35 p.m., around the time Stefan claims he learned of Madeline's absence from school, he's seen throwing away a piece of a damaged tire. However, this wasn't the only thing Stefan discarded.
Too old to lie to people, too old to beat around the bush, and we seem like we're having a generally good conversation right now. Okay? The only thing that I ask for from you is, and I will reciprocate, I want you to be honest with me as much as I'm being honest with you. Okay? Nowadays, cameras are everywhere. Okay? So we see you at the guard check. Okay. We see you go by the dumpster. Okay.
I may have taken some trash with me then.
What was in the trash?
House trash.
House trash? When you for school, did she have her backpack with her?
Yes.
She did. Did she have her school computer with her?
Yes. Presumably, yes.
Presumably. Okay.
She should have.
Once again, this goes back with the whole honesty thing. There was things in that trash bag that got thrown away that probably shouldn't have been thrown away.
Near the tire, a Hawaiian print backpack, school laptop, and one white Croc were found, all believed to belong to Madeline Soto. Stefan's story of watching Madeline walk toward the school with her belongings falls apart with this devastating discovery, prompting the detective to make a desperate plea for the truth.
Well, I can confidently tell you she did not go to school with her backpack.
How's that?
Because we found it in the trash. So, Stefan, here's what I'm asking you and pleading with you is to dig down and do some soul searching. I have kids, he's got kids. And this little girl's out there somewhere that we need to know where. And I really, really, really think you can help us. I mean, you want to get something off your chest. I don't know what it is, but I'm pleading with you.
I don't know. I don't.
Though Stefan continues to deny the truth, the evidence against him is mounting. Detectives are far from finished as they prepare to confront him with the jaw-dropping discovery from his cell phone, a disturbing revelation that will be nearly impossible for Stefan to deny.
What do you think was on the phone?
Last year, I made a video about a deleted scene. This deleted scene took place at the end of Modern Warfare 3, and we're gonna take another look at this one again later in this video. But this was the first time that I had seen a cutscene or a mission or anything like that that was originally supposed to be in a Call of Duty game, but was then removed. And this cutscene essentially changes everything. It changes the complete ending of Modern Warfare 3 and everything that we thought would happen next. Well, as it turns out, there are a lot of these, but not just cutscenes. There's characters, there's missions.
Text messages. Text messages. Emails. Old stuff.
Pictures?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of pictures were on there?
Training card pictures. Lightsaber pictures. Disney pictures.
Do you have a Google account?
Yeah.
Do you save pictures to your Google account?
Sometimes.
Or is it automatically? I know sometimes phones sync to a cloud and.
Yeah, I think it backs up to Google.
And then sometimes when you reset your phone and your phone updates and puts these apps back on your phone, sometimes they will put the images back on your phone.
I'm not sure.
Enemy spotted.
Do you have
I assume so.
Do you have any pictures of you?
Probably. We went to Disney, took selfies on the train. She got back from Puerto Rico and had her hair braided. We got pictures of that. All sorts of pictures. Family events.
Any other pictures you can think of?
On February 28th, 2 days after Madeline's disappearance, the digital forensics team was able to recover hundreds of images and videos from the phone and a Google Cloud account. The images date back as far as when Madeline was only 8 years old. Though few images show Stefan's face, a unique black mark on his genitals would later match those seen in the photos. More discoveries would later come from his search history, with horrifying implications.
Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's a phone. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. You're a very intelligent person. And I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying? So do you want to add to the list of pictures?
No. Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
I can't answer that question. My sole purpose right now is to see if I can find, and I'm really hoping you can help me.
Okay. Well, I'd like to try to help, but I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
In a nearby interrogation room, Jennifer is presented with the distressing evidence. However, her initial reaction leaves investigators in shock.
We have his phone. We were able to get into his phone. And there are some very, very unfortunate graphic pictures with... I wish I could tell you this was all a made-up story, but it's not. Did you ever suspect anything like this? No? You okay?
How are you feeling right now?
I can't breathe.
Is this a surprise?
Is there photos of her?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you know how we have his phone? Obviously, that's how we were able to find the photos in there.
I don't want to believe that this is true. Can I see some of that evidence?
What makes you believe that it's not?
I thought I knew him long enough.
Though investigators insist the photos are true, Jennifer continues to ask them to show her the proof. Despite their concerns that the images may be too difficult for her to see, they ultimately reveal one of the images to her. Jennifer's reaction, however, will soon lead the detective to a chilling conclusion.
So what do you think should happen to Stefan?
I'm afraid to say press charges, but what else? There's a side of me that wants to say he's innocent, that this isn't happen. Can I make one decision now and change my mind later? If I decide not to press charges now, could I change my mind and press charges later?
It's a lot to digest. Okay, so I don't want to make you answer that right now. But when we come back, we'll talk more about it. She's our main focus.
That's where I'm at. I know that the acts happened, but I'm not convinced that he didn't take her to school. I'm not convinced that he's the reason she's gone. Because if this had been going on for so long, what's the motive? Why Monday? Why that day? Why the day after her birthday when we were supposed to spend the entire week together and have such a great time? Like, we had plans. Like, we knew we were just going to be together that week and we were going to have a good time. So I just can't think, like, why?
When you say what's the motive, what are you assuming?
That she was taken. Not that anyone that I know has done something to her, because I feel like nobody I know would do something to her, would hurt her, would murder her, anything like that.
In addition to the photos, several items were located in a search of their apartment, including a firearm found in Stefan's room. In Madeline's room, a phone tripod was located inside a drawer, and a pair of men's underwear was found in a laundry basket. Police noted that a specialized light source was used on Madeline's bed, and areas of fluorescence were observed on her comforter. Additionally, Madeline's school notebook was found and appeared to contain graphic depictions of sexual acts. The evidence is enough to charge Stefan with sexual battery, and after more evidence is collected by police, he is placed under arrest. The investigators are still looking for Madeline, and despite the overwhelming evidence of Madeline's victimization, it still isn't enough to convince Jennifer that Stefan had something to do with her disappearance.
We know what happened. What if he's telling the truth about dropping her off and driving away and driving around in circles and getting to the babe shop? Because I know there's banks around, right in that same plaza. There must, in an Am stop, there must be video of him pulling into that plaza and waiting.
What do you mean? What's your question?
If you guys have found evidence of him being in front of the store like he said he was, like, it's possible that his story might be true and somebody else could have taken her. Like, I'm just thinking, like, what if we're focusing, like, okay, the sex things happened, right? But what if that's completely a side thing and not having to do with this, like her missing?
2 days after his arrest on March 1st, Madeline is still missing, and the detective once again confronts Jennifer, this time to share a troubling concern.
I think at a certain point throughout this relationship, you became aware of it. And for whatever reason, your reasons are your reasons, whether it was discussed that it would stop, whether it was discussed how it would go, that you feel some sense of guilt. A lot of the news statements you've given kind of, again, my opinion only, I don't speak for anybody else, whether it's in this room or out of this room, bother me. I feel like some of your sadness is not real sadness. I feel like when you gave the interview with Fox 35, it was not sincere. Looking at that video one time, I didn't feel like your cries were sincere. And I'm not saying that because you're a bad person, but her going missing, her disappearance, if you have knowledge of how it happened, where it happened, an inclination, that emotion's not going to feel sincere because you're already aware of what happened.
I would.
It's almost becomes a lie at that point.
If I knew anything, I promise you, I would tell you. Like, I am willing to take a lie detector test, whatever the you want, but I don't know anything. He's never mentioned anything. I've never seen any signs. I tried watching her like a hawk. I thought I was doing a good job, but I wasn't.
Regardless of whether Jennifer was aware of the situation, the reality remains that Madeline hasn't yet been found, and uncovering where she is and what may have happened to her is still the priority.
We currently have upwards, probably 200 people working on finding. Anybody who is somebody is involved.
Yeah.
So, regardless of the circumstances, those people don't get to go home. Those people don't get to go back to their families. Those people don't get to live their lives and go back to their primary jobs. This isn't something that's going to stop or go away. I can tell you, and I know detectives expressed to you that the thought process at this point is this is a homicide investigation.
Yeah.
Based on the evidence I've seen, based on the videos I've seen.
Further review of the surveillance footage, which shows Madeline traveling with Stefan in the early hours of February 26th, leads detectives to draw a heartbreaking conclusion. They note that the slumped position with her head leaning is not a common sitting position, and horrifically, perhaps indicates that Madeline may not be alive. Additionally, footage captured in a parking garage shows what appears to be Stefan carrying Madeline from the front passenger seat to the trunk at approximately 9:41 a.m., the time when Stefan claimed to be meandering around while waiting for the vape store to open. Without her body, however, their conclusion is only a theory. Meanwhile, a startling admission by Jennifer will soon lead to a brutal confrontation by the detective, whose patience appears to be wearing thin.
Have you talked to Chris about Stefan needing a lawyer?
Yeah.
When?
I think when you guys showed me the photos.
So we showed you photos.
No.
First thought you had was to ask his father if he should get a lawyer?
No. I knew that was true, right? That's evidence. That's for real. That's happening. But I kept thinking, they're going... I don't know why I can't tell you why my brain kept thinking, no, he didn't kill her. Not that he didn't kill her, but she's still missing. She's still out there. She was taken. Yes, he's done this to her, and that's not okay. But I swore she was still, I felt in my body she was still alive. She was still out there. I told Chris to get him a lawyer because I felt like you guys were chasing the wrong person. But you weren't.
You offering him a lawyer is very weird.
I know.
Her replies to the details about the severity of Madeline's assaults appear to be the final straw for the detective, as his confrontation grows more heated.
You prioritized him by offering him, or telling his dad to get him a lawyer. Not, what the did he do? Not, hey, we need to figure out what happened. No, let's protect Stefan.
I was in shock.
No, it's not shock. That is your natural instinct to protect Stefan.
I don't know why I said that.
But that's the problem. You don't know why. Does your role in her life lead this to happen? I'll be honest. Yes.
I know.
Since she was a child, since her victimization started, it occurred under your roof and you acted like it didn't exist. And knowing the victimization, knowing how ongoing it is, knowing that you saw a picture of it, not just us telling you, not me and him saying, hey, listen, he's being... I think they had a bad relationship. They showed you a picture of it, and you still protected him. So how am I supposed to not think that the thought process in your mind is until she's found, Stefan can't be charged with murder? Because we both now know that you don't want him to be charged with murder because you want him to have a lawyer.
No, I don't. That was then.
You can't be charged with murder.
That was then. Everything that you guys have shown me since then and have shown me that he's
So we have to show you a picture of her dead in the car for you to finally not take his side?
Despite his theory that Madeline is deceased, they've yet to locate any sign of her remains. If their devastating theory is correct, the question remains, what motive would Stefan have to end her life?
What do you think made him snap?
I don't know. Theories, I keep hearing.
Tell me your theories, because here's the deal. We don't go home until she's found.
No, I know.
So what are your theories?
What I've heard is, what if she upset him and threatened to tell me and say that she was going to tell me and he needed to shut that down? That's the only thing.
What do you think?
I don't want to believe he killed her. But for me, you're telling me he wants to kill her Sunday night and snuck her body out in the morning. That photo you guys showed me of her stuffed in the car.
You don't want to believe he killed her.
I want to believe she's still alive and that she got kidnapped, but that doesn't seem like that's the case at all.
No.
I know my brain just wants to believe something else. I just want to believe she's still alive. She's out there.
Explain your reasoning behind those assumptions and we'll move forward day by day.
So he had access to benzos and I think Lunesta.
What are those? I'm not familiar with that.
Benzodiazepines are anxiety medications which relax you and can make you sleepy.
Okay.
And Lunesta, I think, is a sleeping medication, like for insomnia. So I don't know if it's possible he gave her something and she was drugged. In those photos that you showed me where you're saying she's dead, maybe she was drugged. But if she is dead and it was done upstairs, I could just only imagine that he choked her. I don't know how else you would kill someone and not leave a mess.
Horrifically, a search for the medication sevoflurane was discovered in Stefan's Google account on February 12th and 14th. It's described as a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis and amnesia and is most commonly used for surgical procedures. An additional search was made to determine whether or not the medication would show up in tests. Still, based on what he's seen, the detective isn't willing to entertain the idea that Madeline was merely sleeping.
We know he killed her. We know he drove out of there Monday morning. We know he discarded her backpack in the trash dumpster. We know he discarded her laptop and one shoe, right? So all her problems.
I should have turned this off a while ago. It's pretty dark stuff.
You've fallen behind!
So today, the Trump administration fired hundreds of Federal Aviation Administration employees. A functioning Democratic Party would be putting out ads of planes nosediving and blaming the Trump administration. But we'll get to like how Hakeem Jeffries can't even call on Eric Adams to resign, maybe later in the show. But
this is what it's like to run a country like a business.
Yeah, right.
And business leaders are psychopaths that actually don't know how to create things. People who actually create things are people who work and are being laid off.
It's an efficiency model that has already been failing our air safety. Employees that are set to be fired are probationary employees, but they are really important for air traffic control infrastructure. They're not the air traffic controllers yet, but those have been in short supply for years. The air traffic controllers have been raising alarm about being overworked and understaffed and all of the safety concerns that come from it. And in reality, this is not about government efficiency or cutting costs. This is to benefit one man. I bring you this article from Politico right after the election that just within the first 3 paragraphs accurately summarizes Elon Musk's beef with the FAA. The Federal Aviation Administration has spent years tangling with Musk's SpaceX for violations related to its operations, including multiple incidents when the company launched rockets without approval. During the past year, the agency proposed fining SpaceX $633,000 and for twice using plans the agency had not green-lighted, and forced the company to idle its launch pads in Texas for months because of a pending Fish and Wildlife Services review.
Good.
And go fast, break things Musk has responded with scorched earth. He used his social media megaphone to threaten and to sue the agency for regulatory overreach, accused it of politically motivated behavior, taunted the FAA with crude humor, and poked at the agency's rules, which he says moved too slowly to meet his goal of getting human civilization to Mars. I mean, this is a lunatic. But, you know, he's also saying this kind of thing because acting like you have these lofty ambitions is a great way to cover for the fact that you're just like a petty little man who is going after the FAA over a $633K fine when you're the richest billionaire. This gives you, world's richest man, this gives you an indication of how petty these guys are, how sociopathic you have to be to accumulate this kind of wealth. Because that $633,000, oh well, he's going to teach us all a lesson. and deregulate our airspaces because he wants to shoot his toys into space, into our atmosphere where it could fall on top of us whenever he wants. And so because he doesn't get to shoot his toys into space where they can fall on top of us whenever he wants our air traffic to be much less safe. He wants to punish the agency, and Donald Trump is all on board with it. I mean, all they do is fly private. They may not have to worry about this in the same way that we do. But let's watch Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, endorse Elon Musk's efforts over the weekend, calling him a revolutionary. What's incredible about this is he's endorsing the destruction of his own branch of government, which is supposed to have the power of the purse, and going on his knees and saying, Elon Musk, here you go, take all of my power.
You say revolutionary. Like, what is a revolution? It's when the who controls power is changed. And Mike Johnson, if he's the revolutionary, you're the
Big business says the same thing about Mussolini.
What's the point of having y'all if we're just going to let the big billionaire who's a friend with the executive do everything?
Here he is on with Mark Levin explaining why this is a great thing.
I want to ask you another question related to Elon Musk. They turn him into this boogeyman. Why do you think they love multi-billionaire George Soros, who has used the various instrumentality of the government to acquire radio stations?
All right, hold on. Okay. So Elon Musk, they're about to do a whataboutism. This is a Republican staple in order to obscure the fact that even if you want to go apples to apples, Elon Musk buying the top journalistic communications platform, Twitter, and trying to enshittificate it and turn it into a bank.
Being offered Twitch or TikTok, sorry.
Yeah, and has had already more of an effect than what he's describing about Soros. But if George Soros was brought in as an unelected billionaire to tinker with the Treasury and cut the government agencies under the Biden administration, we would be raising hell about it. That's not what's happening. All right, start from the beginning.
I want to ask you another question related to Elon Musk. They turn him into this boogeyman. Why do you think they love multi-billionaire George Soros, who has used the various instrumentality of the government to acquire radio stations, who spends tens of billions of dollars throughout the years, he and his son, to influence our government, to insinuate themselves in governmental decisions, to elect prosecutors who refuse to prosecute and so forth? That's their sugar daddy. That's their guy. But when it comes to Elon Musk, they want him criminally investigated. They believe he doesn't have any role in anything, and so forth and so on. Do you see this as complete hypocrisy?
Complete hypocrisy. And what Elon is doing is heroic. He used the word in the opening monologue. Exactly right. This is an heroic effort. He is bringing common sense and transparency and sunlight to the federal government, to the bureaucracy, to what many of us refer to as the deep state. And this is what he and I were talking about.
All right. We're just going to take this piece by piece.
Yeah, what plan is he doing that?
Transparency. All of this is publicly available. Because the government doesn't run as a corporation, how we tax and spend our money is listed and is publicly available. Particularly in this instance, Congress has the power of the purse. It's signed into law by the president, and because of the Constitution, but reiterated in the Impoundment Control Act of 1974, it is abundantly clear that once Congress decides to spend this money, the president does not have the legal authority to say, I'm not going to do so, let alone an unelected billionaire who's just strolling into the Treasury and asking for all of our information. Keep going.
On Monday night at his office, I said, Elon, I am so excited about what you are doing, what you are uncovering. I said, you think of this as a scientist and a data analyst. I think of it as a constitutional law attorney and historian. Elon, what we are going to be able to do through this effort is restore the original intent of the framers of the Constitution. What they had in mind is a small federal government that was closely monitored and had heavy oversight by the duly elected representatives of the people. The challenge we've had here in recent decades is that members of Congress, these representatives, have not been able to do that job well. The oversight job has been hindered because the deep state and the bureaucracy has not turned over the data. They wouldn't give us the information we were seeking.
So why'd you pass the bill?
This because it was hidden.
The data. Dude, This is supposedly your responsibility. I mean, I'm being redundant here. Go back just like 10 seconds because I want to hear how this supposed constitutional scholar uses the fact that his power is being currently usurped by the man's richest person. Like, why even have congressional representation if their job is just completely secondary? Or
they negotiate bills.
Right. You know why? When that data that he's referring to comes out in the wash is when they're doing these negotiations. He knows he's lying. Keep going.
We've had here in recent decades is that members of Congress, these representatives, have not been able to do that job well. The oversight job has been hindered because the deep state and the bureaucracy has not turned over the data. They wouldn't give us the information we were seeking. We didn't know all this.
Why pass the bill?
Now Elon has cracked the code. He is on the inside of the belly of the beast, Mark, and he is unveiling and revealing all these things that we knew intuitively were happening, but we didn't have the evidence. This is a game changer. It is truly revolutionary, and we're going to restore, ultimately, through this process, the federal government to the original intent of the founders. And that's what has the big government socialists, liberals, and Democrat Party apoplectic because they're afraid of what the final result of this is going to be. And it's very exciting for the people.
You're so right. If you love the country, you love the Constitution, you love small R republicanism, you're cheering these guys on. Mr. Speaker, thanks.
Sure. Well, it is revealing at the very least. Elon Musk tweeted this earlier this morning or late last night. I don't know. Responding to Secretary Sean Duffy of the air traffic control.
Honestly, I changed my mind. I'm for a monarchy, but only if Emma England is our monarch. Hail Queen Emma. All shall fear and perish before her.
Here, Transportation Secretary, he says below, the safety of air travel, if we could just scroll, Bradley. The safety of air travel is a nonpartisan manner. SpaceX engineers will help make air travel safer. So this is the end game, putting his own cronies at the FAA because they dared to levy, never know which is the right way to say it, a $633,000 fine against SpaceX and probably some other burdensome regulations for the man-baby billionaire who wants to basically have no rules by evil daddy government.
And no investigation. Somebody just got smacked by a self-driving car to death in Arizona. That was going to be a National Highway Traffic Safety Administration investigation. This is a power grab by a guy who needs to be, like Bill Burr said, put down like a rabid dog.
I mean, like, that's such a great point about, oh gosh, what did you just say?
National Highway.
Yeah. This came out, it was a study in one of those trade publications. It didn't get a ton of press, but that the Cybertruck is infinitely more deadly than the Ford Pinto.
Who could have thought?
And the way that Mike Johnson talks about algorithms, like, he's an 80-year-old, as if you're just trying to fool your voters into thinking you're smart, like the government is run on an algorithm. They're spreadsheets, idiot. You've gone over the budget. That's a part of your negotiation process. He knows that he's lying, but you could just say algorithm and people go, ooh, it's like God. It's like, spirituality. It's mystified. No, these are just the tabulation of how our government spends its money after Congress allocates it. They have not produced one piece of evidence about the fraud and abuse that they're talking about, except to point to publicly available data that we already have.
Yeah, this is just Twitter files for the government, a big show where they purport to have done some sort of revolutionary transparency, but it's all bullshit, fluffed up by bot journalists. And they're just, it's very obvious, I think, what we're saying.
But I'm very terrified about air safety right now. I mean, to have this be the reaction to these really horrifying incidents of plane crashes should really freak people out. Our air traffic controllers and those systems were already at a breaking point. And now the Trump administration is choosing to make their job.
I ain't fucking flying anywhere. You.
jobs harder. Why? Because the billionaire daddy oligarch wants his buddies in at
honestly, until like Trump takes money away from buses and the sidewalks, I'll be fine.
the FAA as opposed to career public servants.
And more money for capitalists to play with so they don't have to get taxed for, when really we are massively not investing in the right things. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, all these billionaires have way too much money, and we're cutting to the bone things like air, not even schools. Like, I mean, we've just been cutting schools to the bone for decades, but air traffic safety, this is psychopathy, but it's what you would expect from a corporate class. I mean, I saw Mark Cuban saying, hey, we got to be smart, and we should actually look at it again. You cannot trust a single one of these people. Billionaires need to be kicked out. We need to get rid of them before this decade's over.
Yes, and if I'm concerned about our inability, right, exactly. I'm concerned about our ability to faithfully execute an election for the presidency in less than 4 years. But if we elect somebody who is a Democrat, they have to come in and act as with the same urgency that Donald Trump is acting, except in the reverse, to go after the billionaires in an aggressive way that targets their wealth and makes it impossible for this to happen again, redistribute it, and make it so that we can permanently safeguard our regulatory agencies from this happening again, because this is doing untold damage.
Hey folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Look, it's not going to surprise anyone to call the new Captain America film, Brave New World, propaganda. And being the 30th something film in the MCU amid a spate of unremarkable to pretty bad films in the last few years, I don't think it's going to surprise anyone to hear that it's just not very good either. The film has had a tumultuous path to movie screens, from the original title, New World Order, being changed since its 2022 announcement, to the much publicized reshoots and last-minute changes, so it's no surprise that the end result is a muddled mess that somehow feels both like reheated leftovers, yet still undercooked at the same time. More than most films, even in Marvel's oeuvre, it feels designed by an algorithm rather than any real human interaction. Fight scenes are lifeless and lack impact, but they dutifully appear at a regular clip whenever you might find yourself checking your phone. Every rousing speech and emotional moment is undercut by withering, sarcastic remarks or jokes, no matter how ill-fitting for the tone of the scene. But more than the very obvious failings as a film, let alone a follow-up to the well-regarded Captain America Winter Soldier or Captain America Civil War, Brave New World is good for one thing, and that is being a perfect encapsulation of this moment in culture. By which I mean it is a feckless, cowardly, cynical corporate product that feigns an interest in being a genuine story of strength through adversity, all the while undermining and overriding the very real suffering of people that led to this moment. If it's indicative of any new world, it's because it feels like watching the last gasp of American cultural dominance. There are so many things to talk about with this film that surprisingly the story is kind of least among them. Kind of, sort of. If you care about that, no, after this point I will be spoiling pretty much everything that hasn't already been spoiled by marketing, so consider this your spoiler warning. When people talk about Marvel beginning to scrape the bottom of the barrel for directions to take the franchise in, this movie is a perfect example. With major characters like Captain America and Iron Man retired after the Infinity Saga, and 30-plus films where the villains almost always die at the end, it's left the creatives in a bit of an obvious lurch where they need to keep finding new characters to introduce, but also don't have any of the, big names. So we get characters like the controversial Sabra. For the uninitiated, Sabra is a C-list Israeli superhero whose most memorable comic appearances hinge on her seeing Arab children as basically non-human. So in this cultural climate, having this ex-Mossad superhero is a little risky in the movie, to say the least. Which is probably why her character, while pivotal to the film, has been neutered to the point of irrelevance. I'm not even sure if her nationality is mentioned at any point, just that she's an ex-Black Widow. Her status as an Israeli soldier is never brought up to my recollection because this is a movie that has nothing to say, or probably more accurately, this is a film that deathly, deeply is afraid of accidentally saying anything. Ironically, Brave New World's shirking of any responsibility to have a message or a theme leads to it very clearly saying several things about oppression and upholding systemic status quo and the importance of civility politics over any tangible, principled stances that might lead to any actual change. Brave New World, much like Sam Wilson himself, exists in the shadow of better, more compelling stories and heroes, and Marvel seems to know that. If the 4 or 5 grave speeches Sam gives about the nature of responsibility and living up to the lofty standards set by Steve Rogers is any indication. But instead of using that framework for compelling storytelling or parallels, they're simply now copying their own homework. This is particularly evident in how Brave New World is very obviously based heavily on the structure and moments of Winter Soldier and, to a lesser extent, Civil War. Say what you want about Marvel movies, and I will, but I will personally, genuinely say I really like Captain America 2 and 3, but the further they appear in the rear view, the more I wonder if their successes were accidental. Winter Soldier in particular feels so far removed from the modern Marvel brand. The action scenes feel grounded and weighty. It manages to balance big comic book spectacle with engaging character work and a light dollop of comedy that doesn't feel cloying. Probably most notable is its weaving of characters and stories from multiple films together without feeling a need to wink to the camera every 2 seconds. It's also, in my personal belief, the closest we'll ever get to an actual Metal Gear Solid movie, but that's a different video. Then Civil War ups the ante considerably in scale, but also uses all these characters and motivations to tell a compelling story about revenge and cycles of power and accountability, all of which hinges on these powerhouse performances that elevate what would otherwise be pretty rote blockbuster material. These movies, good stuff. Brave New World is not that. It's a lifeless carbon copy with none of the style, flair, or thematic undertone. See, Winter Soldier and Civil War showed Steve Rogers, a man out of time, awakening to the shifting reality of modern power, of corporations and military-industrial complexes controlling the flow of information, commerce, media, and law. Brave New World is about Sam Wilson, a man who is intimately knowledgeable about the transgressions of the United States government, who simply chooses to uphold the status quo, to push for civil change from the inside, regardless of how he personally feels about how the systems are operating and who they're actively hurting. And most insultingly, the film delivers this message, all the while doing its damnedest to convince viewers it has no message or agenda at all, by serving a heap of familiar imagery, whether by a decision to conjure memories of the better Captain America movies, or just simply running out of time and ideas, I don't know. You've got an opening secret mission where Cap goes in against the clock and kicks off the main conflict. You've got a buddy team-up investigation uncovering a conspiracy as Cap needs to outflank the US government. You've got finding hidden underground military installations and mind control experiments, a sudden assassin ambush with links to the main antagonist, and even a close buddy getting his wings clipped in the third act, attempting to drive forward some motivation for the hero. Except with none of the history or intrigue of characters like Captain America or Black Widow, you're left with the new Falcon, who is this film's designated comic relief, and the comedy mostly comes from him just being really annoying. Like, he is legitimately the worst part of the film, and that's including the awful green screen effects that derail the final act. Anthony Mackie has the charisma for this kind of role. He's a good actor, but the cast he's surrounded by give him nothing to work with, and the script that could have been written by a sleepwalking Aaron Sorkin masterclass student leaves him with no meat to dig into like Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr. had. And there's something in the structure of Brave New World that speaks to the entertainment industry's current fixation with AI. When we inevitably get to a point where massive blockbusters are being written by AI, films like Brave New World makes me think we might not actually notice much of a difference between the algorithms being made to write movies and movies being written now to fit into algorithms. Here's a film with like 5 writers, multi-million-dollar reshoots, and a bigger budget than the GDP of some countries, and the best result is a vaguely recognizable mask with no defining artistic sensibilities. It tries to strip back the MCU to the same spy thriller feel of Captain America 2 and to a lesser extent 3, but the MCU has so many different spinning plates that those intentions never show through. Because of the multiversal scale and the ever-consuming need to raise stakes, introduce new characters, keep crafting new toys and Funko Pops and iconography that will make it into Fortnite, there's no such thing as a quiet or grounded MCU story anymore. Just the varying degrees to which talented storytellers can wrangle the loud shot for IMAX CG devastation to something competent. In some cases, like Wakanda Forever and James Gunn's Guardians 3, these talented creators make something within the constraints of the cynical, ever-churning Disney marketing machine, but it still feels like art made to fit in a Happy Meal box first and to appeal to human emotion and expression second. And that same ever-expanding scale is the dramatic downfall of Brave New World. We have fighter jet battles amid giant celestial aliens, but we also want a grounded political thriller. But most importantly, we can't alienate the audience by taking any sides in the politics we espouse. We can have an Israeli superhero, but we won't acknowledge Israel or its ongoing genocide. We have a black Captain America, but we don't see skin color. Despite being in America where people definitely see skin color and judge people by skin color right now. Like if Sam Wilson was Captain America in the real world, he would probably be fired for being a DEI hire right now with the current administration. We can have a central conflict over rare minerals, but the primary conflict is with America and Japan.
That line just broke my mind. Dead Domain is the best YouTuber in history.
Instead of any country with an active interest in the real world in challenging American hegemony. China? Russia? Who's that? We can use political imagery, but only as an empty vessel, a set decoration to the ongoing march of monoculture that continues to katamari itself into an unrecognizable mass, all the while becoming as beige, palatable, and inoffensive as possible. So the end result of this is Captain America: Brave New World, a grounded thriller that isn't grounded, a political intrigue with no politics and no intrigue, and most damningly, a film that wears the guise of civility politics and unity in a cultural climate where those things are currently tearing the country apart. It's almost impressive how little of a new trail this movie blazes for its regurgitation of more popular films made a decade ago, like Winter Soldier, particularly because its position as a follow-up to the Disney Plus show Falcon and the Winter Soldier should leave it primed to break new ground, and this is where the story is most insulting. So let's lay some groundwork. Sam Wilson is the new Captain America, and he's struggling with that responsibility, especially when the new president asks for his help to restart the Avengers. Enter Isaiah Bradley, who the film dubs as the Forgotten Captain America. He was a soldier who was injected with the same super serum as Steve Rogers, but being a black man, he was imprisoned and experimented on by the US government in an analog to the real-world experimentation the US did on black Americans, like the Tuskegee experiments, where hundreds of black people were given syphilis without their knowledge. Naturally, Isaiah is skeptical of Sam, his friend working with the new president who has a history of working against the Avengers. But the president claims he's changed and wants to work with the new Captain America. Isaiah represents a knowledge of the oppressive history of America, and with it, everything we associate with the modern American landscape of oppression.
You know what they did to me for being a hero? They put my ass in jail for 30 years. People running tests, taking my blood, coming.
While the suffering and torture he underwent is acknowledged, much like when systemic racism and how it can still affect our present is brought up, it is treated as something of the past, something we've all moved on from despite evidence to the contrary. Even his friend, Sam Wilson, wearing the red, white, and blue uniform as a fellow black man, basically hand waves away his concerns, his warranted concerns and distrust of the government, because the government isn't like that anymore. Despite the fact that the core conflict of the film revolves around Harrison Ford's President Ross keeping a minor character from a 2007 movie at a government black site and torturing him for over a decade. Isaiah is politically charged imagery given a face and a name and put into a movie where they don't even give the president a political party. At every turn, the film deftly dances around accidentally drawing any parallels to real-world things, like Ross, the Red Hulk, and any other unstable people who may be running the real-world government, angrily making devastating choices that affect millions and starting international conflicts. You see what I did there? It's like if the Red Hulk was Trump. Because they both look bad. They both look really bad. But also because parallels between the real-world political structures and the military fetishistic fantasy of Brave New World are unavoidable, even as Disney does its damnedest to avoid them. The same is true of the fabricated mineral conflict between Japan and America. It wants the emotional impact of conflict and is comfortable selling it in the packaging of political upheaval. But every aspect of its politics are so cartoonishly tailored to be removed from real life, it wraps back around to show the real goal here. Not any kind of examination of politics or power or the dynamics between a government that experiments and locks innocent people up at black sites. That isn't interrogated. And why should it be when the film is more interested in saying, the system works, we just need to work together. It's about unity. Together we can work within the system to fix things. Despite the fact this damn system keeps breaking down, and every time someone says it's fixed, turns out y'all actually just got like people at black site torture facilities. And the film itself doesn't even seem to know about the intense imagery it's summoning. As Isaiah becomes the target of a brainwashing assassination attempt on the president, which ends with Sam talking him down from essentially death by cop because, understandably, Isaiah doesn't want to go back. He promised himself he'd never go back to being in a prison. And here on the screen is Captain America, the modern Captain America, the symbol of the modern American way. A new, diverse Captain America. One film tells us repeatedly represents everybody. And when faced with an embodiment of the history of black oppression from the government, he sides with the police, saying he will help clear Isaiah's name as 3 white police officers tackle the old man to the ground. Don't fight back. The system works, and we need to protect it, even as innocent people are hurt. Because, as Cap puts it, he wants to believe people can change. And as an audience, subliminally, that should mean that structures can change too. The same people who were responsible for disasters, they can change. We should want to work with them, alongside them, together, instead of standing against them. Now, would you believe that even in the film, that's total bullshit? It turns out that the same government Sam represents and fights for has been working to keep the film's big bad, a minor character from the Ed Norton Incredible Hulk film, and they've been torturing and experimenting on him while forcing him to continue making technology and medical breakthroughs for them. In the shadows of the government, those same unethical, immortal exploits happen, as they did with people like Isaiah. This is never questioned. It's just merely chalked up to a one-off incident that Ross tried to keep buried as he climbed the ladders of power all the way to being the president. Now, if you were a good screenwriter with a handle on theme, you might look at the similarities between Isaiah and the leader, the name of the big bad, and go, hey, there's something here on the nature of power changing how it represents itself to the public over time while still abusing and exploiting whoever it can to maintain that power. You might look at the overall structure of the film and series and go, hey, it sure does seem like Captain America, who represents the underdog and apparently the American everyman, is directly at odds with the goals of the U.S.
I'll be back to the Stead Domain video. Who's the greatest YouTuber on the planet? Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Whoa.
Howdy.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Excellent. How are you?
All right. Pretty good.
Well,
How are you doing?
I can't complain. Feeling pretty good, actually. Feeling 100. I'm streaming, just so you know, but no one's watching, as usual.
Okay. Okay.
I still get that Matt C dude commenting once in a while, but I'm almost at this point.
yeah.
I'm fairly convinced he is AI.
Oh well.
But whatever. It's nice to have someone. It's nice to have someone to talk to. Oh my god! Hey, do you remember a game called Zork from like back in the old? It was like a text-only computer game. It was like a role-playing game.
Sounds familiar.
It's from way back.
I never played it.
It might have been from
I
like
think I heard of it.
early. It might have been from late 70s, or I'm assuming early 80s.
Wow.
But like it's old school, and I'm thinking about getting an AI to play a version or some kind of a Zork-inspired RPG in the off time, and then kind of maybe even use that to maybe write some stuff or come up with some ideas for some things. I don't know if I don't know, just kind of like bouncing off
Like,
scenarios.
you mean music ideas?
No, like story
game
ideas and
idea.
stuff. Just I don't know.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like just like might be interesting.
Yeah. Story as in like short story, or as in like
I don't know.
gaming story? Oh, you don't know.
I'm not
Just
sure.
kinda
No, like the AI.
see what happens.
Yeah, just an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything interesting comes up,
there's.
I'll let you know if I follow can follow up on it. But hey, how you feeling? You got some missions to do?
Yeah, I got the missions to do. Not too bad tonight. Pretty easy. I just got 50.
You got what now?
Oh, just got 50 eliminations, and I got to get
50 just
Extra
regular
wild card.
eliminations.
Yeah.
That's not bad, actually. 50 is a good amount. Usually, if it's like if you have to do it in a particular way, it's going to be less than that.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm finishing up I'm working on the PPSH-41 submachine gun. Camos on here. Need to get 5 kills in a single game one more time. And 2 kills, no damage. 4 man's double kills.
I managed to squeak out that marksman rifle in that one event challenge.
Oh,
Is it
nice.
still going today?
It's done in 16 hours.
16 hours, yeah, the Shadow Hunt one.
Yeah.
I finished the Terminator one too. I haven't tried that gun yet.
Oh, the War Machine?
Yeah, I haven't tried that one.
Yeah, I think I've only was able to. I think I got it. I think I did it like one time. I earned it once. It's not a super high streak, but I don't know. I just been having the bad luck as far as streaks go. But I'm ready to rock. You let me know. You give me the go, and I'm throwing us into a game.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think I've got
ready to go.
I think I've got all the game modes filtered here. Team deathmatch.
I had a challenge.
Go on, please.
Yeah.
Challenge what?
Oh, I was just gonna say I had a challenge the other night that was you had to. Oh no, it was part of the that event challenge. I think you had to get 5 melee kills.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I decided to go out with the knife, and I had a hilarious game where I was just because you can move a lot faster when you just have the knife. You're just zipping around.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
It's great.
It was so fun.
Yeah,
Stabby was
the
back.
knife's so good in this game. Have you tried the cleaver yet?
No, not yet.
That's probably my favorite melee. The bat like takes 2 hits. It's kind of tough, actually. But the cleaver is a murder machine and slice people up very quickly. Pretty brutal.
Sure, I was pissing some people off last night.
That is like the rage creator.
Yeah.
When you see the guy running at you,
fucking come on.
Take a couple shots,
Yeah.
you miss, you get stabbed.
Yep. Right in their face.
Oh God. So just a pretty normal day. Do anything interesting?
Oh no, not really.
I've got the synthesizer called it's a Korg, called a monotribe. It's pretty small. Like it's not even like 8 inches long. It's just a tiny little thing. You just put it right in front of you and play. And it's pretty simple. Like it's got some bass drum sounds, like a hi-hat sounds and snare, but also, and then like the main synth, bass mostly, a mono synth, and it just sounds really cool. It's kind of old school. I bought it a while ago, but it's like it doesn't have any MIDI connection, and like it only syncs up with other Korg gear, and I don't have any other Korg gear. But I'm thinking about like just kind of jamming on it, and then just running it into Ableton, not synced up, no MIDI, just recording straight into it and throwing some effects on it and whatnot.
Cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. Like I can't really describe it, but it's
Need some video.
There's this guy, I forget what there's this one guy who had a YouTube channel who would do these kind of performances on it. It's pretty like you kind of hear one, you hear them all. You heard one, you heard them all, kind of thing, you know, as far as his jams go. But listening to one is kind of like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll send you a short one that sounds cool and kind of see what I'm talking about. This guy's just running it straight. Like I would put some effects on it, like some distortion in there.
Wow, did you see that glass fall here?
What?
Oh, right here. Did you see that? All this glass fell like from the ceiling right there.
Oh, cool! Yeah, you can shoot it and it falls.
Oh, is that what happens?
Yeah,
okay.
I just shot some of
that
it
before.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
There's a guy sniping at the very end down there. I'm coming for him. Outside now.
Oof. I'm outside. Watch out. Sniper outside.
Oh god, this guy's just sitting in that fucking room.
You on top or lower?
What a loser. I'm in a stairwell right now.
Oh, I wish it. Oh shit.
Oh god, I just blew myself off.
Oh,
dude,
that was your own? I thought that was someone else. I thought someone got you.
No, I did. The guy in the spring mine sitting there, right outside the doorway, and I saw it, and then I peek inside and he was just waiting for you. So I shot him dead, and then I was like trying to shoot the spring mine, and it was evidently a little too close. So it blew me up.
It happens.
Bottom line, don't. There's a sniper on the balcony. Bit of fire down there. Beware that.
pretty much only run like trophies during objective modes and Warcry and not much use for the munitions box. I run Scavenger, and Scavenger's really good at this game. Scavenger reloads like everything.
Fucking snipers on that balcony. I got them both.
Push it.
Bring it on! Bring it on!
This is a good sniping. It's fun to that main kind of
shit, really?
You can see what they call it. It's a long lobby here. Snipe down, but I am running SMG.
Fuck, come on. Oh, I survived that shit. Dead. Blood spattered windshield or whatever that is. Blood.
They've taken the lead.
Hey, do you want to start a clan? Like it's like a little thing that you, it's like in brackets for your name. It's kind of like.
We're winning. Keep it that way.
I think
yeah, I've seen that. I've never really understood what that was all about.
I mean, it's like you belong to a certain clan of like, it's, I don't know, like a Call of Duty club. You can start our own if you wanted. And if we get anyone else to play, they can join it.
I don't care.
Oh. What would you want it, as far as like a name?
I would have to think about it.
Yeah, you don't.
Whatever I'm gonna say right now probably be kind of stupid.
Think about it. What was something cool?
Coming up with a band name. It's a lot harder than
Fuck you, asshole.
Are you saying you'd want to play with other players?
Well, no, I'm just thinking like you and I can be in the clan, but if we ever did get other players, they can join our clan if they, or, you know, down the line. I don't know how long.
Oh shit!
But it would be our clan.
Our clan.
Be
Our
ours.
secret clan with the secret handshake.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, why not?
And if you're not in our clan, you get shot. Okay? Yeah.
Wow, what's going on?
Okay, you're prepping fire.
I think we're both pretty good. I think we deserve a plan.
Got you, bastard. Guy's sniping at me out the window. We're playing cat and mouse, and then he decided to jump like on top of my head, and I shot him in midair.
Oh, jeez, that's awesome.
Which was fun. He would have got the better of me. I'm sure he would have.
Oh shit.
Oh, I got some boost mode.
That was me. Oh shit. That's alright. I was running behind you. Run the war
I was so I was so juiced I ran right into somebody.
She like ran over him like a rhinoceros.
Oh my god, there's fucking on the bleacher seats, there's like 3 guys out by the
What?
bleachers.
Seriously?
Yeah, there's like 3 dudes there. I just got ambushed.
MTC's nearly dry.
God.
Get serious, Crimson.
Are they still there?
One guy. Maybe they split. Nope. Oh, yeah, I think they split. There was one guy still hanging back. I got that one guy. But I was like, what are these fucking three? Oh, nope, there's a guy still out there. Bleacher. There's a bleacher bum.
Oh,
he just got you, I think.
I'm heading to the bleachers. Jesus, will be ours.
Dude, where the?
Oh, he's up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, I just hit him with a. Oh, got him. Got him with a Molotov. Let me go Molotov crazy, dude. I love it.
How far up in those bleachers can you go?
I think part of them are like technically like out of range or out of.
Oh yeah, just the first row, you're good. Oh man, I dropped like a rock. Shit. Last time I checked, I was on top.
Oh man. Yeah. I love SMGs, what can I say?
Grenade incoming!
And this is the PPSH. This is basically, I don't remember if it's the same, if it was called the same thing. I think it may have been. But in Vanguard, I think the equivalent. Oh, check this out, dude. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Nice. Terminator's got some moves.
God damn it. So stupid. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
Oh, you were talking about the PPSH or the.
Oh yeah,
SMGs
in Vanguard,
something?
the equivalent. That was my SMG. So I'm feeling. I think this was a new one this season, and I think this was in the Battle Pass.
We watched some of the SNL 50th anniversary special, I guess.
Was that even any good? I saw a little bit on YouTube, like maybe one.
So far, I have to say we were not too crazy about it. We've only, it's about like 2 hours long. It's pretty long. A lot of guests. I mean, Steve Martin did the opening monologue. That was pretty funny. And then, I don't know, a lot of the sketches were not so great so far. Though I heard, like, Kate McKinnon was a good, do you ever see that Alien sketch where she's abducted with, Ryan, what's his name? Oh, I can't think of his name. Gosling, Ryan Gosling.
Oh, no.
Oh, dude, you gotta Google that.
Funny?
Like one of the funniest. Oh god, I think it's like my favorite sketch of all time.
Really? Oh, what's it from?
So fun.
It's not that old, probably. Did you get that?
Yeah, I mean like a few years back. Yeah, Ryan Gosling, Kate McKinnon, and Cecily Strong, I think, are the main ones. And then like there's one other one. But basically, the government is interviewing some people who got abducted by aliens, and Kate McKinnon plays kind of this like rural hayseed. Ryan Gosling and Cecily Strong are kind of talking about how it was such a magical experience. You know, they saw God and stuff, and like Kate McKinnon's thing is completely different. not quite as fun. Let's just say that. There, but it's so funny, dude.
It's probably in YouTube.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Check it out. If you could send me a reminder, that would help me. But
yeah,
I understand.
I can remember myself. I will
send a reminder to send me a reminder.
Oh, sneaky bitch.
Shit.
Right behind the door.
Hardpoint Hardpoint identified.
Forgot I have to use my tactical and kill people after I stun them or whatever. And I always have issues with that.
Busting out my dark off.
Fuck you. Flashed him. I gotta kill him. Kill him. Yes.
This map's too fun to shoot long range. Sniper, marksman.
Oh fuck. Spring mine, god damn it.
Hardpoint located. TACOM, establish watch up to overhead. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint check. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Still double XP? Yeah, we're still double XP. I wonder when that's gonna end. The only weapon I have to level up still is this launcher. I got. At all. Honestly, I don't think I can find it. It's the only thing I got right now, and it's double XP.
Here's KIA. Hardpoint identified. Semtex incoming. Hardpoint active. Hostiles captured the hardpoint.
Shit. Sucks. Let's leave this one hanging.
Hardpoint is secure. Semtex front. Hardpoint located. Hardpoint is active. Deploying post. Hardpoint locked down.
Shit. That's some shit. Hardpoint.
Destroyed your Sophie system.
Those two little like kind of doorways on this map, though, not the ones that are they walk around the corner, but the ones that you like look right into the doorway. You know what I'm talking about? One's over here.
Okay, cancel that.
Ones that look right into the doorway.
These ones, like
The big ones. Oh. You mean the big gates?
No, these regular doors. Doorways. I was gonna say they're fun to throw ethals into when people are standing in there and they can get out.
Like the small rooms?
Like the small doorway here, like it's on the south of them.
I think I know what you're talking
There's like these two little hallways of symmetrical on one side of the indoor area of the hangar. And people like to hang out in them, and I think it's a terrible idea to hang out in there because throw a Molotov in there and everyone dies. So they're bringing. Did you ever play the old? Yeah, I'm sure you have the Verdansk, the old Warzone map, first one they put out.
Verdansk, yeah.
Yeah, they had Verdansk in 1984 in the Cold War. Yeah, they're bringing that back. They're bringing back Verdansk. Should be fun. But maybe we can jump back in. I think the Season 2 Reloaded should be this week? At the end of this week? I don't know. But the skate park map grind is gonna be. I'm a big fan. I love that map actually.
Found the hard point. Hard point is secure. Send back up. Just on their heels. Hit 'em hard.
Oh my god. It's one of those things where I just took 20 shots at a guy and he missed bullet missed him. Oh my god. Ass kicked.
Jesus. Team bottom 2. I'm here with you, man. But hey, you know, wow. You went positive at least. You did not have a bad game. He, on the other hand, did not go positive. But I was sitting on the point. I have the objective player KD. That's what I got.
5 in a row by my count.
Yeah.
Hollow whispers.
Sounds like the worst suburb in the world.
That was it's the worst gamer tag I've seen in my entire life. Like,
gotta be intentional. It's so bad.
I don't believe in bullying, but get bullied, bro. You got time for another game? It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I could do one more.
Yeah, sorry I punked out the last couple nights. Like, I just like
no, it's
like I was just like I was starting to fall asleep at 7, and I was like, man, I don't think I could stay awake. And I thought I was waiting to see if I got a second wind. It just didn't happen. I'm like, I'm crashing right now. I like literally went to bed at 7:30.
No, it's fine. Yeah, Sundays are hard, and then I don't manage to get on usually.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's cool. And I'm sorry about Saturday too.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, it was funny because Rachel wanted to work on some art, and so I was like, oh, well, then I'll play. What the fuck? So
Dang
then
it.
I got on.
I'm sorry, man.
But I
was gonna say, I mean, she's doing this. Yeah, I mean, I'm super nervous about messing with people's Valentine's days and stuff like that. And if I would have saw it, I still would have been like, but she was doing something else, man. I'm sorry. I wish I would have saw the text.
No, I was only on for like a half hour or something. I just want to get the challenges done. So.
Yeah, like literally right around the same time, the Internet Today dropped that video, and I was watching that and completely to my phone. As soon as it ended, I looked at my phone and I was like, oh dang.
Come on, you're losing this fight.
How was the RFK one? I didn't get a chance to see either of them.
Not too bad. They didn't go too deep. Okay, but it's kind of just on its face, pretty insane. But they've put out a lot of stuff lately, actually, and it is hard to keep up.
Yeah, these guys, boy, they got a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah. Expecting an episode tomorrow morning.
Honestly, I don't know how they do it. You have to ingest the news, then kind of have an opinion about everything that you fucking see. I couldn't do that.
I mean, it's their job. It's a pretty nice job. I mean, I'm sure it's tough, you know, but you know, if you can find a good, I mean, they probably make a good living.
Incoming stun.
They've been doing it for a while, I guess. Channel's been around for at least a decade. I don't really remember when or how I started watching it. Just kind of popped up. Probably, I mean, sometime between the year 2017 and 2022.
I mean, they're funny and they're very insightful and they're right about stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it's therapeutic sometimes.
Yeah, when it's like you're not alone.
Yeah, exactly. I swear, being able to slide backwards is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Humanity has peaked with sliding backwards in Call of Duty.
Oh god. Alright, I need to get these tactical kills.
Oh, you gotta get tactical kills?
Yeah, like where you throw your tactical and then kill them.
Yeah,
after you
flash,
stunned
kill
or
flash
blinded
someone or
them.
something, yeah. Oh, I hate those, man.
I didn't notice that.
You remember in Cold War, they had melee challenges where you had to kill people with a melee weapon, people that you stunned. Like, that was tough, bro. It was like, because like you would like 90% of the time would end up like stunning yourself because you're trying to melee them.
Right.
So you keep good distance, you throw the stun at them, you stun them, but you're really far away, so you try to run up to them. But by the time you get to them, you're not stunning anymore; they murder you.
Oh yeah, of course. There's a guy behind you.
Grenade! Check that aim! Shot for brains! Administering stim. You gonna let a bunch of company assholes beat you? Fight back, damn it! Hostiles running scrambler.
Great game. I'm done with this tactical challenge. Ah, shit.
Go for tags, go for tags. We're so close. This goes up to 75, doesn't it?
I'm
We just
not
hope
sure. Damn it. Oh, dude. First.
Two shooting. Zone 4. Oh, close game. Team top 3. I'll take it. Y'all got pretty brutalized in that one. No, that's all right.
Me dying.
When am I showing up? Luckily I was not in the group. Roll Ugly Woods, Knowles, and Zuro. Terrible names across the board.
Yeah.
Get better names. Honestly, John Slot was like probably the best gamer tag I've ever seen in my life.
No, thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I don't know. It occurred to me someday for some reason. I don't know
Sam
why.
Severson's
The name
is
on.
hilarious.
What rhymes with on?
John Slot.
On rhymes with on.
It's brutal.
On what? On slot.
All right. Well, I think.
All right. Well, you got to run.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hit the hay here in a minute. But hey, good games.
Games.
Excellent game.
I'll check for you tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Have your tacos ready for Taco Tuesday. Let's go. All right, I'm sorry. All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Are you playing music for people?
Yeah, I am.
Have you ever played for Miles?
When an 18-year-old famous gamer, collector, entrepreneur, and YouTuber lost his career in an instant, many wondered if it caused him to snap. The actual story, though, seems to be